One most important protocol that we use at application layer is HTTP. Why I'm saying this is most important? Because this protocol we use to get web pages, to fetch web pages. Server of this protocol listen at the port number 80, and this protocol uses the services of TCP. Now there are two versions of this protocol. One is HTTP 1.0, which uses the non-persistence connection. So I will tell you in the detail what is non-persistence connection. Another one version is HTTP 1.1, which uses the persistence connection. And this protocol is stateless, which means that it does not store any information about the user. So let's see these two connections, persistence connection and non-persistence connection. Non-persistence connection means that for every web page or for every object, you will be establishing a TCP connection separately. So as it is written here, in a non-persistence connection, one TCP connection is made for each request and response. The following list is in the steps is getting applied in this strategy. So first step is that the client opens the TCP connection. Second step is that the server sends the response and closes the connection. So this is important. Like after one request is served, the server closes the connection. And third step is that the clients reads the data until it encounters end of file. It then closes the connection. So what is happening here? Suppose you are client and you want to fetch some data or some web page from the server. So you will be establishing one TCP connection on port number 80. You will send the SYN. You will send server will send SYN plus ACK, and then you will send ACK. And along with this ACK, you will also request for the data. This is called the piggybacked ACK, right? You will also request for the data. Now, once the server gets the request, it will send you the data and closes the connection. That's important. So now server closes the connection. Now there is no more connection that you have. Server is closing the connection once it sends the data. Now suppose that there is some web page that you get, and this is a file that you're getting. Now after reading this file, you got to know that okay, there is one image also within this file that you also need to fetch. So what you will be doing? You will be again sending SYN, which means you will be again establishing a connection, and then SYN plus ACK, then ACK plus request. So I have the diagram here. Just see that first you are getting the file, and after getting this file, you got to know that okay, you again need to establish the connection. So what you will be doing? You will be first closing the current connection, and then you will again open a new connection, and in this new connection you will request for the image. So because after reading this file, you got to know okay, there is one image that you also need to load. So you will again request for the image, and once you get this image, you will be again closing this connection. So this is how you are opening the connection, closing the connection, opening the connection, and closing the connection. So for every object, so this is basically called base web page, which means this is the first web page, and after reading this web page only, you got to know that okay, there is one image also that you need to load, right? So for every object, you need to open the connection, close the connection. Now suppose there are n objects. In this strategy, if a file contains links to n pictures. So if a file contains links to n pictures, which means how many connections you need to open and close? N plus 1. One for the file itself and n connections for the images. So the connection must be opened and closed for n plus 1 times, right? This is a non-persistent strategy. I hope you got it. Now there is a persistent strategy which is like this, which says that you do not need to open and close connection every time, which means once you open the connection, then you read the file, you don't close the connection, which means you can request within the same connection. So there is only one connection that you have opened, and within the same connection you are requesting again without the closing connection. So this is called persistence connection, right? And then there will be a response, then you can close the connection if you want to. I mean, once you see that okay, there is no need to get another objects from the same server, so you can close the connection, right? So let's suppose there are 5 objects that you want to retrieve. Then what you can do, you can basically get the base. So this is basically the connection establishment phase, and then you can get the base page. And once you get the base page, this is the base page, then you say that okay, there are, let's suppose, 5 different images or different objects that you want to get. Then you can do what? You can request for the first object, you can get the first object, you can again request for the second object, you can get the same second object without closing the connection, right? This is what you can do in the persistent way. Now again, this persistent connection is coming with the two flavors. One is the pipeline, another one is non-pipeline. So both are very simple. Pipeline and non-pipeline means, like, when you are having, let's suppose, multiple objects that you want to fetch. So this is just a connection establishment phase. Once you get the base web page, this is the base web page, and then what you are getting, you want to, let's suppose, retrieve the 5 images. Then non-pipeline says that you request for one image, get one image, right? And then request for another image. This is the second request, then get one image, like that, right? Pipeline says that once you establish the connection, you get the base web page, this is the base web page, then you can request for all the images simultaneously. This is the request 1, this is the request 2, this is the request 3, like that, right? Request 1, request 2, request 3. So this is the pipeline flavor of persistent connection. Persistent connection means you are not closing the connection after getting the base web page or any object. Okay, this is non-pipeline of the persistent. So this is persistent. Persistence come with two flavors, pipeline and non-pipeline. This is non-pipeline, which means you are requesting and then you are again requesting. Once you get the object, you are requesting again, then you get the object, then you are requesting. In pipeline fashion, you are requesting for all of the objects at once. And non-persistent says that once you get one object, close the connection, then you open the connection again and get the object, close the connection, like that. So clearly this is the overhead, and this is what we were using earlier. So currently this non-persistent is not being used in the latest version, that is HTTP 1.0. In this HTTP 1.1, in this HTTP 1.1, like, non-persistent you can use, but by default it is persistent connection. Okay, if you want, then in HTTP 1.1 also you can use the non-persistent connection, but by default it is a persistent connection, and obviously it makes sense, right? So this is all about HTTP. You just need to know what is persistence connection here and what is non-persistence connection here. Thank you.